Welcome, viewers. My name is Ankur Saini, and I'm from Global Vision Migration. We've got our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar, with us. How are you, Saurabh?
Very well, thanks. Ankur, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very good. I'm a little sad at this point of time. Reason being because a lot of applicants, those who actually applied for Victoria State nomination,
Mm-hmm.
right, just not from the IT field, they've received, or the engineering field, they received their invites. The majority of the people, those who actually receive their invites, they are from health or sort of related fields as well. So what sort of advice are you going to give to the applicants, those who actually received a sort of refusal, we can say, because refusal in any sense is not that good.
Yeah, I totally understand. It is very frustrating for a lot of people that who actually received a refusal from Victoria State nomination today due to the fact that the Victoria received around 8,500 ROIs, and Victoria in total they only had maximum of around 2,500 places available.
Mhm.
So, and what I'm thinking is maybe, and they have said that from July 2021 you can reapply. That means that they're going to reopen again in the next financial year, and maybe we are also about to get new nomination places soon as well. So that is another thing that is going to be really good for a lot of people. And yes, so today we will also discuss about the results that we have received,
Yeah.
maybe our colleagues who have received as well, and we would welcome our viewers to kindly comment as well. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment your question, and we are more than happy to answer your questions as well.
So at this point of time, Saurabh, I just would like to say the advice you actually just gave to the applicants, the future applicants, or the current applicants, those who actually received their refusals today,
Mhm.
that there's still a hope, right? Hope in the sense that in coming months, which is like July onwards,
Mhm.
the the quota which Victoria is going to receive, is it going to be higher than the NSW, or do you think is going to be the as previous?
If you did look into the the state places that last year all the states actually received,
Mhm.
NSW actually received 3,500 places for subclass 190, and that is why they are still actually inviting a lot of people currently for subclass 190 at 90 points, 85 points, even at 9,500 points as well. Whereas Victoria, being the third largest state, I would say, only received 2,500 places, which is less than 1,000 places.
Mhm.
So, what does that mean for all the people who are currently have received refusals? Is that hold on to it. You would certainly would get some positive news in the month of July, and make sure your application is quite persuasive, and you will be able to explain to the Victoria how you are still assisting Victoria with the COVID-19 economy recovery or towards the health response. So that is my advice to people. And in total, if you see, New South Wales received around 6,400 places in total. Out of those, 3,550 is for subclass 190, and around 2,800 for subclass 491. Which, and in regards to Victoria, they not even received maximum of 3,500, including 190 as well as 491. So even Tasmania actually received more 491 places than Victoria.
Beautiful. So that means the
Yeah.
applicants, those who actually planned their future in Tasmania, they are fortunate enough to receive the invitations, right, rather than the Victoria ones.
Exactly. So that's the thing as well. And then what I would recommend a lot of people is actually to be, prepare yourself. If you haven't got a skill assessment, make sure you're ready with that as well, as soon as possible. And certainly, obviously there is not much options available for offshore people at this point of time, but certainly there will be some options available down the track as well.
Well, we are actually not going to talk about the offshore people at this stage. Reason being because everyone knows that due to global pandemic, COVID-19, migration is anyway slow. But the people, those are already here in Australia, right?
Hmm.
And as you just, I think, mentioned a while ago, that Victoria received 8,500
ROIs,
ROIs.
yes.
Out of those 8,500 ROIs, they only selected those they feel that they are persuasive enough, right?
Hmm.
So this is what exactly Saurabh is trying to make you guys understand, that be ready with your strong persuasive statement, reason being because that is not the end of the world. July is going to get you the another sky, which is like untouchable, right?
Exactly. And then also, most importantly, the fact that Victoria actually invited a lot of healthcare workers this time. Probably in the next, financial year, they'll probably be looking to all the IT people, all the chefs, all the cooks, all the trade person who were left out in this financial year. So those could be the option, and then people will be able to use that kind of documents, or I mean, like the those people who have left out now, they could be eligible to apply down the track as well.
And I think the this reason could be as the minister who himself actually said that the federal government is going to support the hospitality industry anyways, right? They are giving a quick grants to 485. They are giving quick grants on 186. Especially, I'm talking about the hospitality industry, guys. Uh, and I'm pretty much sure if that is the case, the possibilities are actually very high that in coming future, chefs are or cooks,
Yeah,
like
they'll
they'll
probably
be.
be on their way to get all the nominations down the track as well. So that's exactly what I would recommend a lot of people as well, that if you are in that kind of situation, and then you probably be able to get the state nomination if you are a chef or a cook or probably a motor mechanic or a tradesperson.
So today, when most of the trade colleagues, they've received their invitations, so as we. So would you please
Yeah,
give a sort of a
so
brief to our viewers that what is
we have also received a around 4 to 5 invitations today for Victoria subclass 190. There were a few registered nurses who are currently working in aged care, and those people are not the one who actually recently applied. They applied in the month of January, February, March, so they didn't get in that round. So what I did is, I think Victoria actually hold on to those occupations, and then they actually waited until the last moment when they had enough places available, and then they give out all the invitations right at the end.
here? I would like to say one thing to our viewers. When we like when Saurabh was actually lodging the ROIs to the applicants, and in the previous to this, not this round, the previous round, when we were actually thinking that the registered nurses, those are actually working in aged care, due to COVID-19, they are the one those who are going to receive the invitations, like ROI invitations. But when we waited for whole day, there was no invitation, and Saurabh was the one who actually said, take it or leave it, but yes, for sure, every person, like those who are actually working in healthcare industry, because that is the critical industry at this point of time, they'll be receiving their invites in the last round. This exactly had happened, right?
Exactly. So pretty much, even we did receive a invitation for someone who is not working in the healthcare sector. So that was a network administrator, and surprisingly, the person actually received an invitation, even though they are not actually currently any have links to an health sector or anything. And yeah, so it is surprising from Victoria's behalf that they have actually invited people, not only the one working in the healthcare sector, but also working in a diverse sector such as ICT, network engineering, and all those sectors as well. So my recommendation for people who are currently working as a software engineer, business analyst, ICT, other security specialist, etc., that as long as you're working in your field, you could also be eligible to apply for a state nomination as well. So that is important. Make sure you guys do take that into consideration as well when applying for your state nomination from July 2021 onwards. So that's pretty much only a couple of months away. I know it is a couple of months away, but a lot of people actually leave things till the last moment, and then they lose the opportunity, because same like last time, the Victoria only going to open it for the first week of every month. Hopefully that's the case will be. And then if they're going to open it for the 1 week itself, a lot of people who came to us, some of them didn't have their skill assessments, some of them didn't have their IELTS or PT scores ready, didn't have NATI. Obviously, Victoria doesn't really care too much about points as long as you do meet their eligibility criteria. But it's always advisable to have enough points so that you can actually apply for it. You probably can say Victoria does not care about points, but New South Wales does care about points. What if you don't get Victoria State nomination? You can certainly relocate to New South Wales and then be able to get 190 from New South Wales.
Yeah.
We will be discussing New South Wales shortly anyway.
So prepare for the worst, but if even if you are actually preparing for the worst, prepare it with all shields on top. Well, the only reason we are live today is to just give you a sort of assurance that that is not the end of the world, right? Get yourself equipped with the points. Get yourself equipped with everything which is being actually required by the state, right? Whether it's your English exam, whether it's your skills assessment, whether it's your employment, be equipped. And the most important thing here with Victoria is to express yourself into 1500 words.
Exactly. Yeah, that is important because a lot of people probably would just end up wasting so much words or time, on saying that I have studied this, I have studied that, I have this much experience, I have done that, but they don't actually show the important part, how critically you assisted Victoria in towards the economy recovery. So those are the things quite important where you should actually pay attention to those options as well.
So technically, this is actually a sort of IELTS or PT exam, or you can say that is your first date with Victoria, where you need to actually show them in 1500 characters, not even words, that's characters.
And that also includes spaces.
Yeah. So you need to actually show to the state that, yes, I'm the strong candidate, right? I've done this for your state. I'm the one you need to choose. And that is something which is not that very hard. Now, because the last round is already done, is dusted, prepare yourself for those 1500 characters for July or August or whenever Victoria is going to start the nomination round.
Exactly. So prepare yourself in advance. As you all know, the Victoria is certainly going to open in July 2021. We don't know exactly what's the date and what the new requirements will be. So you could also be eligible for those state nomination requirements, provided you do get your stuff ready. Make sure you have a skill assessments, your IELTS or your PT score is ready. You got your NATI sorted as well if you do have to take that exam in order to boost your score points. So those are the things. Make sure you do get those kind of stuff ready. If you would have to show 3 months of regional experience, move to regional, look for a regional employment. So those kind of things are actually, this is the time that you have to do it.
Exactly. This is like a sort of preparation that you are actually preparing yourself for an exam. And if you are selected, that means you can change your life in
Just like that.
in a span of like swish.
Oh,
Right. This is exactly what we are trying to make you understand here. I would like to share one of the recent call which Saurabh actually made to the clients when they received, like when we received the invitation email from the Victoria, and when Saurabh actually called them that you've been selected. And one of the client, she's from not even from like she's in into the health industry, but she's a dental technician. And when she got the news, literally she started crying.
because some of the occupations, they are really hard. There is no other option to get permanent residency for such occupations.
Exactly.
Either they have option to go to regional 491 or subclass 494 if they have an employer who's willing to sponsor them. But occupation like that, they could be actually eligible, and it's actually a life turning moment for this person as well.
This is what actually we discussed, that these sort of occupations in which you've got very less opportunities, but the moment you're actually getting yourself like a grant, it is actually a sort of grant that you've been selected, you know that yes, sooner or later 190 is going to be yours.
Absolutely. So today now we're going to discuss about also about subclass NSW, so 190 and 491 nominations from New South Wales. As you know, currently New South Wales is actually being really active in giving out invitations for software engineers, computer network system engineers, and business analysts as well at 90 to 95 points. Some of them are also getting at 85 points if you are a registered nurse. And unless like Victoria, NSW are not asking you to provide any statements or anything, because they have a very big number of nomination places that were allocated to them in the last financial year. However, but they do have a very limited occupation list. So you must have your occupation in those lists to be actually eligible to apply for your state nomination. And the most important thing, the lucrative thing, is you don't actually have to show any kind of work experience, or you don't actually have to show any residential requirement. So you don't actually have to be living in New South Wales from last 6 months, or that duration that currently Victoria has. And there is no such requirement for employment either.
So
So
that
if,
has been omitted, right?
yeah,
There is no.
exactly, there is
Okay.
no such thing as well. So even
There
though
is
if you have enough points, like 90 to 95 points, and your occupation is on the list, if you do move to New South Wales now, you probably can get a pre-invite, and and then they will give you 14 days to apply for the nomination. And during those 14 days period, you would actually have to provide that kind of information, apply for the nomination, and just substantiate your claims that you have made in your EOI. And if that's successful, you will receive an invitation to apply for subclass 190 or 491 if you are eligible for that visa. And then you apply for the nomination. Once the nomination gets accepted, it's successful, you receive an invitation to apply for PR. That is the invitation that everyone talks about, and that's what they are looking for. So that is actually a NSW kind of.
So the two key important factors, like two key factors are here to understand that you must be having the higher points,
Mhm.
right? And then even from like a very single day, if you've been residing in NSW, you can lodge your
Exactly.
expression
So if
request.
someone, say for example, if I'm currently in Victoria and I'm a computer network and system engineer, and I've got like I have an IELTS exam tomorrow, PT exam, and I clear my PT exam on Saturday, and I had around like got 95 points or 95 points. So what I can do is I can actually relocate to New South Wales probably on Monday itself, find a place to stay, get my bill, and get some residential documents ready, and then I could be eligible for subclass 190, because there is no such requirement for how long I should have been staying in New South Wales. So that is the most important thing that I would recommend people to look into as well.
Thank you very, very much, Saurabh. Beautifully explained that how you can actually get yourself ready for NSW state nomination. And as said, that yes, Victoria is not the last round. A lot of rounds are there for coming future. The only thing which you need to do is to equip yourself with everything, and especially that persuasive statement in 1500 characters. Even if you would like to give that chance to Global Vision Migration, we are anyways there to help you out. We know
Absolutely.
how to persuade, how to put your situation beautifully into those 1500 characters, and then yes, we know that the statement is going to be persuasive enough to secure your selection.
Yeah, because your success is our vision.
Exactly, that's why we call it Global Vision.
So and let's quickly have a chat about the so today we also received very good news for one of our client. So we actually received a successful AAT outcome. So the case is remitted back to the department, and this was a very hard case because the applicant actually received a, so the partner visa was actually refused based on the fact that applicant did not held a student visa, or they did not hold a substantive visa. And in those circumstances, the department looks into Schedule 3 criteria, where the applicant must show that they did had some compelling or compassionate
Compassionate
circumstances.
circumstances, yeah.
And probably those circumstances does not have to be at the time of application. So that's actually exactly what we push towards in our AAT submission, where we actually explain them that it does not have to be at the time of application. It can also meet even at the time of decision for the AAT.
For the AAT,
And
yes.
if you can see currently, the applicant is actually belong to India. And then, as you can see, the current circumstances, COVID circumstances, etc., people can actually use those kind of current compelling circumstances as well. As you can know that.
So in a nutshell, what we are trying to say here is that your submission need to be strong enough. As we said, that words can create wonders, right? And here in this case, a strong submission created wonders, and that guy was actually struggling from last almost 1,000 days,
Yeah,
almost three years.
3 years, yeah, since 2018 April, almost more than
Almost
3 years,
more
yeah.
than 3 years, and then today he's really very happy. And
Exactly.
just that submission actually created a sort of a pathway for him for the permanent residency reason, because if for a certain period of time you're actually eligible for the permanent residency here in
Exactly.
this partner visa case.
Exactly. And if you say, for example, the reason why we bring this up as well, a lot of people, when they do get their visa refused, they feel very disheartened. They feel like they feel despaired. They don't know what to do now. Everything is shattered. But there are so many circumstances, whether your visa has been refused due to your employer sponsored nomination was refused, or any circumstances, there's always a chance where you can actually win that case at the AAT. So I would recommend all the people, all the viewers, your friends or families, that if you are in this kind of situation, take some professional advice, seek legal advice. You probably be able to help yourself in that kind of situation as well.
Exactly. Like once you'll be receiving the refusal, I would say that play like Sherlock Holmes. Collect all the evidences, strong evidences. If you feel like that, yes, the refusal which has been actually granted to you is unfair, seek professional advice. Visit a registered migration agent, and on the behalf of those evidences which has anyways been collected by you, create a strong submission and win the case. Because as just said, that words can create wonders. A strong submission can get you in a position from a refusal to into a substantive visa holder.
Absolutely. So don't feel despaired. There's always an opportunities for you to actually convert that refusal into a visa grant.
Exactly.
So this is the most important, the elephant in the room.
Exactly, yes. Federal budget 2021 and 2022. The day the budget was actually announced, and our phones, they were like, keep ringing, keep ringing, keep ringing. And we were like, what exactly had happened? Because every applicant was having the same sort of question, that what is going to be happen? The places are exactly the same, or what is going to be happen in migration field? Because at this point of time, because of COVID, situations are tangled, right?
Absolutely. And as you can see, Prime Minister Scott Morrison, he did mention that this is the second COVID-19 budget. That is why the numbers for the migration remain the same as it was the last year. So they capped those numbers at 160,000. So most importantly, cap does not mean that they would be actually they have to meet those many numbers. That is why a lot of people are saying, why are we not getting invitations for 189? Why are we not getting invitations for 491 family sponsored? Because they have given those numbers. That doesn't mean that those are target numbers. Those are not the numbers that they actually have to achieve. Okay. So this is more like a ceiling rather than a target.
Rather than a target, yes.
Exactly. So currently for the scale migration stream, so there is a numbers that have been allocated is 79,600 for skill migration. That also includes state nominations, employer sponsored visas, general skill migration, and other migrations such as global talent visas, etc. For family streams such as partner visas, parent visas, child visas, they are sitting at around approximately around 77,300 places.
More or less same.
Yeah, almost the same.
So technically, what they are actually saying, that whosoever is actually receiving this skilled nomination,
Yeah,
they're anyways going to bring their partners.
kind of.
More or less same thing. Yeah.
Exactly, because there is a lot of partners currently who have applied for a partner visa in Australia. And those occupations, those people who have applied for these partner visas are actually their files are getting picked up really quickly as well.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yes.
Even like last Sunday itself, even we can see the department is currently working on Sunday. In the recent Sunday, the one just went, we actually receive a partner visa, the temporary as well as the permanent grant as well on the same day itself. That was on Sunday 5 p.m. So that was surprisingly, like, the department is currently working at that period of time as well. And then for child visas, there is absolutely around a 3,000 places. The one that are actually they have like a leeway for child visas, because if there is more child visas required, they have 3,000 of extra leeway that they can extend that period as well. And obviously there are some humanitarian program as well, which is capped at around 13,750 nomination places, visa places. And just want to let everyone know that these are ceiling places, not the target numbers. Okay, So if you think that that there are 78,000 places, why didn't I receive an invitation end of the financial year? Please be aware that that does not mean that you will receive an invitation. That is why department always says that please seek for other visa options. If you look into other state nomination websites as well, they do also say that do not rely on this R190 or 491. Make sure you seek other options as well.
Here, I would like to ask one thing more, Saurabh, that as the minister actually said that he's looking after this hospitality industry,
Hmm.
right? And he's been actually granted, I think, full working rights in this situation, if I'm
Yes,
not wrong.
yes, yes. Most important thing. So full working rights for people who are currently working on tourism as well as a hospitality sector. What does that mean for you guys is that you could also, if you are on a student visa, currently working in a restaurant as a chef, working in hospitality, working even as a um, in either in a hotel, motel, and then you could also be able to work full time because that is what Immigration Minister Alex Hawke is trying to push. He want to help the people currently employers because they are struggling to find employees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And currently government is also putting in a lot of voucher system and also that to push towards people buying from local restaurants and some travel vouchers for people to visit regional areas, resort vouchers, etc. So what they're trying to say is that what's the point of getting all these things if they don't have enough employees to cater to the needs of those people?
Exactly.
So that is exactly why they have actually put in this thing in place where students currently on a student visa are actually eligible to work full time, or if you are currently working in this hospitality or tourism sector, and if your visa is expiring in the next 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, or expired 28 within 28 days, you could also be eligible for subclass 408. Okay.
For
That-
further information on
Hmm.
this, I would say that please do contact us, call us for more information for 408 visa, especially for the people those who are actually working in hospitality and tourism industry. 04300818804.
Thank you. So, as you know, that the general skill migration is always there for people, and there is also a very important stream of visas where a lot of people actually do not pay attention to, which is employer-sponsored visas. And
Indeed, yes.
exactly, and and a lot of people actually have received a lot of permanent residency in this year itself based on employer nomination schemes, subclass 186, subclass 494, all those kind of options.
And as being said, that we should actually like thank to Department of Home Affairs, because the case officers, they are working tirelessly, they are working very, very hard, and especially they are actually giving quick results on 482 and 186. The nominations are actually getting approved in a span of 1 week, especially for the people those are actually in PMSO list.
Yeah.
Even for chefs and cooks, like hospitality industry, as being said, that is being looked after by the ministry, right? They are receiving the grants like nomination and visa in a span of 60 days, 60 to 30 days.
Absolutely, because we also received a 494
That was
nomination.
very quick.
That was for a restaurant manager, and that was approved in less than 7 business days. Sorry, 7 working days. That was 7 calendar days.
7 calendar days,
Yeah,
yes.
and then the applicant nominee was themselves not ready for the visa application because they haven't got their police clearances and all that stuff, and they were surprised as well that how quickly we got the outcome.
Exactly. So if you're having any sort of inquiry related to employer sponsor visa, then I request you to please visit a registered migration agent. You can come to us as well, and yes, and we can discuss thoroughly, because for 482 the requirement is.
Okay, so let's talk about employer sponsored visas, and I'll start with the PR option first, and then we'll get down the how to get there. So the people that everyone would like to apply is an employer nomination scheme, which is subclass 186. 186 also have three different streams, which is direct entry, temporary transition stream, and then the third option that they have is a labor agreement. For labor agreement is a totally different scenario where it's actually the big multinational companies, they actually make a special arrangement with the government that I have these many companies, these employees that I would like to bring, etc. The most important stream is 186 direct entry or TRTS. temporary residence transition stream is quite straightforward. That if you are on a 482 visa, after 3 years, you could be eligible for this TRTS through 186. And most importantly, is the 186 direct entry. Because what's the requirement for this is that you must have your occupation in the MLTSSL list. Second requirement, that you must have at least 6 each in your English. You do not need 8 each or 9 each in your IELTS or PT. Simple, straightforward. You must have at least 6 each, a skill assessment, and 3 years of full-time work experience. Full-time experience can also be an part-time equivalent as well, as long as it's at a skill level. So that is something that people can actually look into there as well. And some people don't have 3 years of work experience. Some people they want to know, like, okay, I only have 2 years. I'm currently working with an employer. How should I get to 186? Well, in order for you to get to 186 direct entry, you should go first on a 482 visa. You work there with their employer on a 482 for at least 1 year, and then you can apply, gain that experience, and then apply for 186 direct entry. Or you could seek other options, whatever option that helps you gain that 1 year of work experience on a full-time basis. Third, thirdly, so if you don't have enough experience for even for a 482 visa, how do you? Okay, for 482, most importantly, you will need at least 2 years of full-time equivalent experience. You will need at least 5 each in your English. It's pretty straightforward thing. And then obviously you need an employer to sponsor to get sponsored. There are some occupations, some trade occupation based on your nationality and other stuff. You could be have to do your skill assessment, and sometimes you don't. So those are the things that people need to understand as well, because if for your occupation a skill assessment is required and you do not have that, your application will be invalid, and that could also lead you to be unlawful in Australia. Okay, so be very careful. Make sure you do pay attention to what you are doing right now.
Assess your application with a registered migration agent, because that is one of the key factor you need to understand. Reason being, because occupation is the key, and to determine the occupation is another task which a registered migration agent plays a very important role. I can We can talk about the client who was actually working as an engineer, and later on, when the registered migration agent actually assessed his profile thoroughly, we understood one of the fact that this guy is industrial engineer.
Hmm. Yes. And
And
then,
then
yeah, and then because the person was just working, doing his normal task and stuff, and then turned out to be that the person was doing a duties of an industrial engineer, and he was planning on applying under a plant engineer or production engineer. That's completely different. So those other things are quite important as well. That's what I would request people to please thoroughly check your application. If you put a nomination for a different occupation than what then you are currently working on, obviously that would not go through. It would certainly would get refused, and then people get section 48 bar, and then they say that the government is like that and all, because the AAT would affirm it, because
exactly.
obviously AAT would also need to look into the law as well. That is clearly objective, that if it's A equals to B, it has to be equals to B. Okay.
So here you need to understand one of the fact that this is not the occupation which is actually plays a major role. The duties, if you are actually performing the duties as an industrial engineer, and even if you are actually performing the duties as a chef, you need to understand, irrespective of the occupation which is being placed on your employment contract or your payslip, go visit a registered migration agent, show him the fact that this is what I'm doing, please suggest me the pathway. And on the basis of the duties, possibilities are there that you'll be ending up having your occupation in MLTSSL list, which is going through straight to
Straight
permanent
to permanent
residency.
residency, absolutely. So those are the things people need to be very careful and need to understand before you're actually stepping into this as well. So that is some employer sponsored visas in a nutshell. And obviously there are some other options as well. There are training visas in place, which is subclass 407. You need to have at least 1 year of full-time equivalent experience in the last 2 years, or you can also would have finished your studies in the last 2 years as well, full-time studies. You could also be eligible in that as well. And obviously an employer who can actually willing to train you and who can supervise you in your training as well. So
Now here I would like to ask one question, Saurabh, because a lot of people, a lot of applicants, those who actually normally ask you this question, that What if after 407, spending their 2 years or like 1 year, whatever, irrespective of the duration of the visa which has been granted. So they'll be straight away can apply for 482, right?
Yeah, they can based on the training plan as well. Most importantly, what kind of training they're doing, was the training supervised, was there unsupervised training, what kind of, how much is the big, how big is the skill gap. Okay, so those are the things that really matters as well. If the training plan is very if the training plan shows that they are actually have a very big skill gap,
Mm-hmm.
that means that the kind of work they're doing is not at a skill level.
Exactly.
So that is important as well for people if you want to use that kind of experience. It all solely comes down to the kind of how your training plan was developed. That is what's important. That determines whether that experience can be used as a skill down the track or not.
So you need to like pay the attention on very small like nitty-gritties, and then in which a registered migration agent plays a very important role. I'm not saying that visitors, as said, visit our industry colleagues. They're all smart. They're all well versed with the law. However, if you really wanted to come to us, as said, that please give us a call at 04300 81 804, and Saurabh is there to look after you.
Thanks for that. We both are here to help you actually. And also, if someone is actually on a 407, a lot of people don't know that you cannot do a job ready program.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yes,
This is one of the question which people are actually like
they're anxious. They want to
yes.
know.
And to be honest, they received the like wrong information as well in the past. But yes, that is one of the truth that on 407 visa you cannot perform your job ready program.
Exactly. So I think that's pretty much all. Let's see what kind of answers questions we have received now. So someone asking that still no luck for offshore, right? Mechanical engineer 85 plus 5 points. Elisa, currently there are no, as you can see, that government said that they will be focusing on the people who are currently in Australia. And surprisingly, a few of my colleagues actually received invitation for South Australia for people for some of the occupations who are currently located offshore.
Is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was surprising, and we're not sure whether those nominations were actually were approved or not, because clearly states have been instructed to not nominate people who are currently outside Australia. But so it could be a system glitch or anything. But if things do change as well, Alyssa, certainly we would actually put a live session and explain everyone what the new requirements going to be as well.
Anyways, we are just a call away. You can give us a call if you'll be
Exactly.
receiving any sort of information
Or
with
you can
regards to
send us a
this.
message on our Facebook page as well. Happy to answer that question. So Amna Khan, she's saying that
She is saying that I am enrolled nurse working in aged care regional Victoria. It's been 4 months I'm working and living here in, and it is right time to lodge ROI or wait for June and July. I have 60 points of my own, and my partner is trying to get seven each. Is it necessary for him to get seven each, or we just fulfill state requirement? Please advise. Thanks.
Okay, Amna, as you know, Victoria is already closed, so there is no round for June, and perhaps they're gonna be around in July, but we don't know when. And they would obviously Victoria would notify everyone that when they are going to reopen again. And as you're saying that the partner does not need seven each in order for you to claim points, they only need six each and a skill assessment. That is important. And in the recent rounds, Victoria were not nominating any enrolled nurse. Okay, so, but moving forward after July, if they do include enrollers in your occupation, then you could also be eligible for surplus 491. Or if you do have 6 months of work experience, then you can even apply for 190. You do not need to work full time. You can only be working 20 hours per week as well. So that is important. And if you do have any doubts, anything particular relating to your circumstances, you can feel free to send us a message or give us a call as well. And Pritam,
Pritam Deb Psychot. Hi Saurabh, is 189 dead for this financial year?
Pritam, as you know, a lot of people do aware of the fact that since 2017, there has not been any invitation round in the month of June. So if 189 was supposed to have a proper invitation round, they probably would do this in this month.
Yeah.
And then if there is going to be no invitation round in this month, then obviously kind of say that 189 and 491 family sponsored has been finished for this financial year, because they did had a round in the month of April. And if you do count quarters, April is the last quarter of the financial year. So maybe you are right, and let the time decide that. And hopefully next financial year comes with a good news for everyone.
Ushasari. Hi, I'm student and I recently got to know that Clyde comes under regional. So does moving to Clyde fetches regional points?
So it's not just it's a Clyde North, most importantly, 3978. That's the postcode that comes under regional. Moving to regional won't get you points until unless you do also study there as well. You need to have at least 2 years of study and live there as well, and then only you will be able to get 5 points for your skill select. Now, Court Talvinder is asking about the New Zealand visitor visa. Unfortunately, we are not a New Zealand migration agents, so we cannot advise you on the New Zealand visitor visa. But currently, the New Zealand government, they are actually processing them a lot. So yes, we can let you get in touch with someone who can assist you with that. And she's also asked, what's the reason for bridging visa B refusal these days? There could be n number of factors for bridging visa B or any visa refusals, maybe providing the wrong information, maybe providing not enough information, maybe providing misleading information, incorrect information, providing information that wasn't asked. Could be any number of reasons. So there is no such reason for BVB refusal these days, because um, we haven't received any touchwood so far refusal for a bridging visa B
No.
lately. And I don't know why people are still getting refusals for bridging visa B. It's a pretty straightforward. As long as you have your facts right, should be fine. Anything else, Ankur, would you like to add for our session?
The only thing which I would like to say to our viewers that well, this is not the end of the world. From with the same phrase, I actually started the conversation, and with the same phrase, I would like to end this conversation because after getting the invitations, we do even received a couple of refusals as well. So, well, that's the game.
That's the game. That's part of the game,
Exactly. But to all our applicants, those who like being selected, yes, we are happy for them. And those who are actually not selected, the only thing which we actually said to them that prepare yourself for the best. Reason being because best is yet to come.
Absolutely. So we want to leave this on a good note, and would like to, request our viewers, our friends or families, you can share this video with your friends, and we try to provide as much information as possible. Obviously, we would come back again next Friday. We'll provide new information about new topics and new visa options, etc., for our viewers and for their friends and families as well.
Yeah, we've been missed by a lot of our viewers, and we are back. We are back in the game.
Yeah.
And so every Friday, I would like our viewers to know that yes, we are back. So be ready with your questions, and yeah, we'll be happy to answer them like those questions in the coming Friday session.
Perfect. No worries. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us, and hope you guys have a very good weekend. Enjoy this Friday, and good luck.
Shabba khair.